Hello guys, just gonna fix this, get that away. Okay, I thought I would just go through a couple of the things that we managed to, or I managed to leave out of the update yesterday. It's been Christmas, New Year's Eve just around the corner. Got my festivities going all right, but yeah, I did miss a couple of things. So I'm just going to show you. So what I've done is, this is the desktop code, by the way, part of the desktop code. So I've been updating how mouse clicks and movements of windows are organized, because we used to do something called recursive, sort of a lookup table, where if you click a button, for example, inside a window, it will try to find out, okay, which window does this button belong to? It also has to separate between, for example, buttons and lists and whatnot, and the window borders, so that you can actually grab a window and move it around. So I managed to optimize that quite a bit, quite radically. So now it's at least 3-4 times faster to just move a window around, because it was a bit laggy. So that's one of the things. The other thing was that I fixed the problem with the window title, which for some reason managed to overlap some of the glyphs. So that's the second thing. And the most important thing, I guess, is the server. So I'm going to just show you in the flash. We actually have it running right here, but let's do a clean compile. I'm just going to compile that up, and we hit execute. Okay, so now that's running on port 1881, and then we go down here to a normal browser, do refresh. Now this thing right here is going away. This is actually something that's been it's been there since one of the first demos that we had out, and the idea was that we're going to have multiple servers that you can pick from. There we go. Sorry, multitasking. So for example, if you had 2 or 3 servers, you can actually pick from a list, and also we could have like an edit button or something that you can add a server to connect to. But on second thought, it's actually a bit stupid, because if you have already visited a URL, you obviously want to connect to that server. So this one will simply be either removed, or I will simply put the IP address or the URL that you're actually visiting instead. So that's going away. So let's log in. You can see the server is working in the background there. So it's a lot more smooth. Let's see, just need to position myself. I look good in the corner. Yeah. So let's see. That is a lot faster than it used to be. It used to be a bit sluggish. Here you can see it's still a little bit of lag going on there. I'll optimize that more. Let's go into the preferences, themes. I'm gonna find a folder that has quite a bit of content. Default icons. That's also been optimized a little bit. It used to have, actually, there was a 200 millisecond delay for each file that it enumerated, and this was sort of an attempt to async, share the payload. I've now set the delay down to 2 milliseconds, so it can collect files much faster, and it's a separate process as well. So it's not a part of the server, it's actually taken out. So that's part of the new stuff. Secondly, the shell. We now have an Amiga looking shell. And for me that is pretty cool, because I hated, we were using sort of something I put together in 5 minutes, and it wasn't really working. It had alignment problems. It was using tags for everything. It doesn't work. So this one is actually using the HTML5 canvas, and we're drawing everything, just like you would do in a native language like Delphi or C++ Builder, for example. So I need to add a prefix. We don't have a prefix yet, but all the commands work. For example, if we go into photos, see what's going on there, you see, yeah. So that's going on. Also external. Now this doesn't actually look like much, but there's a lot going on there, because the content of this window, even though it just looks like a notepad, text editor, is actually an external program running in a frame, talking to the desktop using a message channel back and forth. So the first thing that happens is that it has a handshake, it identifies itself. Okay, that checks out. Then there's a security process. It has to send a security manifest. Okay, that checks out. And then the desktop sends over a message channel, and all calls to the API has to be done on that channel. So it doesn't look like much yet, but it's just about to surface, so to speak. It's just underneath, the superficial visual stuff. So yeah, that's been a lot of work on that. Also, I guess I did write about how, the doc, there's no hard-coded elements anymore. The only hard-coded is actually the first one, preferences. That I think that has to be there, basically, when it comes to a web system like this. And there's only going to be 3 windows that are basically, well, not hard-coded, but built into Amibian. And that is the shell, of course, and that has to do with security. I didn't want to push that out. We would have to relay messages, and it'll be a mess. Notepad as well will probably be pushed out, but not just yet. And then there's preferences. And of course, you have windows like this, like file browsing and things like that. But everything else is going to be external programs running in separate processes, in their own frames, communicating using message channels. And also the API, of course, has been worked on. So now you can have a hosted application that asks Amibian something. Okay, give me the files in the root folder, for example. That signal is shipped onto the server, and the server is actually doing the work and shipping the data back. And then it's relayed to the application that requested it. So yeah, there's been a ton of work, and I love it. And we're getting the cube next month. That is going to be awesome. Okay. Well, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Merry Christmas as well, although we're past that now. And I'll keep you all updated. Cheers.